AVAIYA has changed my life.
AVAIYA has made me the woman I am today.
AVAIYA is my home.
AVAIYA is personal freedom.
AVAIYA is the reason my life continuously improves.
Let everyone in your life know about AVAIYA.
Everyone needs to know about this amazing company.
Thank you, AVAIYA, for appearing in my inbox.
What ALLEN and Ande Anderson have created at AVAIYA is what the world needs.
Hello, AVAIYA family. Thank you so much for joining us for our Breaking Free from Toxic Relationships curriculum. I'm Ande Anderson. My partner Ike Allen and I are teachers, mentors, and the co-owners of AVAIYA University. AVAIYA is the creator of over 1,000 books, films, courses, teachings, and other supportive resources. Thank you for joining us. Our fellow teacher, Dee Wallace, is back with us today to talk about the relationship with you is the relationship with them. I am so intrigued by this topic. Dee has worked as an author, a teacher, a dancer, and an actress in film, television, and stage for over 40 years now. Her many film credits include The Hills Have Eyes, The Howling, Cujo, Secret Admirer, The Frighteners, 10, and of course her role as Mary in Steven Spielberg's E.T. She has appeared in almost 200 films, 5 television series, and 400 commercials. And Dee is also a renowned healer, a sought-after speaker, and the author of 5 books on the subject of self-creation. And her important message to the world is this: love yourself beyond anyone or anything else. Love yourself so much that you can't do anything that doesn't make you love yourself more. I love it. Welcome, Dee.
Thank you. Great to be here, as always.
Yeah, it's great to have you back. Thanks for doing this. I'm so excited to reconnect and talk about a really cool topic today.
It's a really cool topic because we're in relationship with everything.
We certainly are.
You know, you can have a toxic relationship with your significant other or with your passing by other. You can have a great or toxic relationship with money, with your body, with the world. So yeah, right now we're seeing a lot of toxic relationships being played out in the world to help us get really clear about what we don't want so that we know what we do want.
So let's talk about like that, like how does that like creation work? I know you talk a lot about that, like self-creation.
Well, yeah, you know, if you're looking to create better relationships with anything, guys, you have to create a better relationship with yourself. And that's where all the gold is. So let's just say that we are wanting to create a relationship with a significant other, right? And first of all, you have to know what you really want. I suggest everybody make a list. These are all the attributes that I want to create in this person, that I want to attract in a person, right? I have people do that in workshops all the time. They always leave off good health. A lot of them leave off financially stable. A lot of them leave off great sex. I wouldn't leave any of those 3 things off my list. I'm just saying. So energy works by being directed. Everything is energy, and energy has to have a direction. And if you're not directing it consciously, like making a list, that energy gets directed unconsciously or subconsciously. One of the biggest places that affect our creation of another relationship is the relationship we watched from our fathers and mothers growing up.
Yeah.
So subconsciously, that little girl or boy in us are going, I don't want that. I don't want that relationship. But again, if you're saying what you don't want, and this is spiritual creation, religious creation, and brain science. If you're saying what you don't want, you're focused on what you don't want, and that's what you're going to attract until you wake up. So Energy has to have direction. Be clear about what you want, write it down, and then I suggest that everybody look at that list and go, okay, am I that?
Right.
Yeah. Is my heart open? Do I honor and respect the people and myself? Because really, a lot of us, let's say we have a core belief in this that I'm not good enough. Well, that's like walking in, if I'm a woman, walking into a room of 10 hot, amazing guys and saying, hi, I'd love to have a relationship with you. I really want to have a relationship with you. But by the way, I'm not good enough and I really don't think very much of myself. But who wants to have a relationship with me, right? And they're all going to go like, yeah, see you later. Yeah. What's the point? And that's why I'm saying the relationship with yourself is so important for you to get into alignment. And the more you can love yourself, truly love yourself, the more everybody else is going to want to love you too.
Absolutely. So like you mentioned a little bit ago about modeling from childhood and how that can influence, right, what kind of relationships you get into. Can you dive a little deeper into that? Like if people, if people, all right, just dive deeper. Let's go.
Okay, so I'm going to use myself as an example. I was raised in a family, a poor family. We were pretty poor. My father was an alcoholic. My grandfather, who had been very successful during my very early formative years, had a stroke. Now, we were poor, so we lived on the bottom level of my grandparents' house, and they lived in the apartment above. So I was surrounded by women who had to take care of men. Much of my life has been me taking care of men in one way or another until I woke up about 10 years ago and he went, why do I keep bringing in the same person in totally different ways? One was taking care of them financially. One was taking care of them emotionally. One was taking care of them physically. But you see, when we watch that modeling in our early years, we literally create the belief that that's the way the world works. And that's the way relationships work. And so when we try to break out of that, our little girls and our little boys inside are going, what? No, you can't. No. This is the way it is. You can't break out and create something else. And, you know, then we also subconsciously think it's a commentary on our parents. And what I would like to say to everybody is you choose your parents. And oftentimes, usually, we choose our parents to be born into to experience the very things we do not want to create again in this lifetime. So they're really doing us a favor, but so many of us stay in the victimness of it instead of standing back in objectivity and going, okay, they gave me a gift here. I don't want that. I don't want all my relationships based on the belief that I have to take care of them. Or another prevalent belief is men misuse women. I have to give up myself to take care of my husband. And none of that are relationships that we want. But until we're very clear about what we don't want, then we maybe can get clear about what we do want and start focusing on that. And what you focus on, you create.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate you going through your little bit of your personal story. And
it's my personal life is just out there for the whole world to see.
Open book.
Yeah.
I love it. So let's talk a little bit deeper about like creating, right? Being consciously creating our relationships. So I know in your work you talk about why the first 8 years are so important in the creation of relationships. So what do you mean by that?
Well, we've already touched on it, a lot of it. Your brain, as far as how you see yourself, how you see the world, and how you see the world seeing you, done by 8 years old, guys, from conception to 8 years old. And then we build on that the rest of our lives. We think, well, mom and dad and our grandparents, in my case, were very influential in what I believed about the world. And my religious teaching, very influential about how I approached creating in the world. And if we don't come to a realization about some of those really limiting false belief systems that we're basing our relationships on, nothing changes. You just keep, like I did, attracting the same guy in a different body. The same situation.
Yeah. And so many people I'm sure watching right now have had that experience of like multiple toxic relationships repeated over and over again. And like, man, why does this keep happening? So I'd love it if you kind of like give us a little like 101 on like creation itself for people who are watching and are like, well, how is it that I'm not creating this, right? Like, how could I be creating this? For people who might be new to this topic in this way, do you know what I mean? So if you share a little bit about that.
Well, all right, I'm going to combine the two things since we're talking about creating relationships. Okay, so you have to know, first of all, everything's energy. Energy will follow whatever direction it gets. If you're sitting in front of the TV and you're watching a bunch of shows where women are demeaned, where men are treating women with a lack of consideration and honor, if you're not very conscious, your energy will go, okay, well, that's what she's focused on, so that's what I'm going to start creating for her. That's why it's imperative that you know what you want and you choose, because we direct energy through our thoughts, our feelings, and our perspectives. So I was working with this one woman and I said, well, do you like men? And she said, oh God, no. I said, well, how are you going to create a relationship then, baby? I said, well, she said, well, men just mistreat women. And I said, but you see, that's the perspective of the world that you have to shift if you are going to bring in someone that respects you. So energy will follow your subconscious beliefs, will follow your fears that you don't know you have, will follow your thoughts that, by the way, as you know, most of our thoughts are somebody else's thoughts. They're not our original thoughts. Otherwise, we would all be only thinking about what makes us happy, what fills us with love and joy. So that's the next thing I would tell everybody is get yourself into alignment with what you want to create. When you think of creating this relationship, let me back up for a minute. I teach everybody to find their love place. And it's so easy, guys. You know where your heart is. Your love place is anything that you think about that instantly opens your heart and puts a smile on your face. For me, it's my doggy freedom or my beautiful place in Maui that I love to go. It can be a place in nature. It can be a baby, one of the children in your family that you love. Pets are great because pets are just unconditional love. Mm-hmm. So you want to take yourself for no reason other than you're choosing to. You want to take yourself into this place of love and feel into it and go, oh, that's what this relationship that I want feels like. Oh, that's what this relationship with money feels like. Oh, that's what this relationship with my healthy body feels like. And, you know, it's not a sound bite. It's a way of life. But the more you practice it, the more it becomes just second nature to the way you think and feel. And I'm telling you, I'm getting ready to teach this whole summit on health and wellness. And I have so much research, scientific research, that says love is the most powerful creative force on earth. But most of us are trying to create by judging what we want. You know, love what you want, and then the universe can match that signal. You see, every feeling and thought we have has an electrical impulse, an electrical frequency. That's why they test your heart with electrocardiogram, electroencephalogram, because our brains and our hearts are electrical. When we have a thought or a feeling, that frequency goes within and says, okay, body, find this frequency. And it goes without to the universe. And the universe searches for a match to whatever frequency, positive or negative, you're sending out, and then sends it back to you as the reality of your life. Mm-hmm. And that's why it's imperative that we choose the thoughts and choose the feelings about what we want to create so that we get the manifestation that we want.
Mm-hmm. Got it. So like, let's say someone watching right now is in, right? Maybe they're in a relationship right now that they would consider toxic for whatever reason, right? Unhealthy. Uh-huh. Like if they want to stay in that relationship, what suggestions do you have for them to like work on their own energy, and yet at the same time they can't control the other person, but like what shifts when you shift, and you know, those kinds of things?
Yep. Well, we know, and again, this is science, you shift you, all the energy around you has to shift. That's a law. What I suggest to people is to ask this first question: why did I create and attract this relationship in the first place? What am I getting out of this? What am I learning? What pattern do I keep repeating? How am I not honoring and loving myself in this relationship? And to start shifting that energy about themselves within themselves. And then if the energy of the partnership doesn't shift, and you have, you either have to resign staying there or you have to leave. Now, it's true, we cannot create for another person. However, when you shift your frequencies, and again, this is proven scientifically, that shift goes out and your field extends out and it affects other people. Also, I would say to somebody, start seeing the toxic person you're in a relationship with, start seeing them as you want them to be. Because we create, again, how I see myself, how I see the world, how I see the world seeing me. So if we see ourselves as someone who's not worthy to be honored, we might as well not even go there. We might as well not go any further. But if we see ourselves as someone who is worthy of being respected and honored, but then we look out in the world and go, yeah, but all the men out there, they don't do that. You see, your creation is going to come to a stop right there, because your perspective of the energy that you want to work with is that it can't work with honoring and respecting you. So all of those three things, I see me as someone who is worthy and worthy of being loved and honored and respected. I look out and I see a world where that's possible, where I know there are relationships out there for me that will honor and love and respect me. And I see them looking back at me going, wow, she should be honored and respected and loved. And then all of the frequencies are working together to create what you want.
I love it. Thank you. So, you talk, obviously self-love is a big topic of yours, being your, big mission. And so if someone was to ask themselves, how do I learn to love myself? What would you say?
I would say it's a lot easier than you think. First of all, it's a choice. Most of us think we have to achieve something to love ourselves and feel worthy, or we have to have somebody expressing that to us to love ourselves and be worthy. Love's a choice, guys. As soon as I asked you to, when I asked you to go to your love place, didn't something immediately come up? Yes.
Our dog came up for me too. I was like,
yeah.
Oh, it's totally Tylee dog.
Exactly. And you see, you're smiling. It's as easy as that. Now, all you have to do is choose to send that to yourself. But you see, we're taught not to do that. Again, back to the first 8 years. Oh, loving yourself, that's blasphemous. That's God won't love you. Your friends won't love you. You'll be full of yourself. That's egotistical. But loving yourself in the highest way, as God would love you, or the universe, or the force, or whatever your term is for the creative power, doesn't matter. That's unconditional love. And, who do we want to give everything to? The people we love. And we're always off that list. So I spend my life getting up every morning and asking my heart, what can I do more today? What can I create more today? How can I love myself more today so I have more to give?
Oh, I get chills. That's beautiful.
Well, it's true, because when you fill yourself up, then you have all that to share.
I love it. Do you have any other stories you could share around, either personal stories or stories of people you work with around relationships and creating a healthy relationship as opposed to a toxic relationship?
Well, yeah, my daughter has written a whole incredible book about it called Eat, Pray, #FML.
Oh.
She was in a very toxic relationship. That's hard for me to talk about. We found out about a year and a half into the marriage that he'd been having an affair with a 19-year-old for like 6 months. And I think the thing that was the greatest test for me to get my balance back was everybody believed him. Everybody thought this guy was a great guy and that he really adored my daughter. Everybody in my family. And I read energy every day. So what that made all of us do is question our read on energy. Question, oh, wait a minute, why didn't I see this? Right? So there were a lot of lessons. And, you know, what she talks about in her book is get up every day and go, what are 4 things today that I can do for me that will make me feel better and express love to myself? For her, it's working out, meditating, eating well, and laughing, right? But she took herself on a trip to Europe all by herself. She'd never been away by herself. But she said, Mom, I have got to learn to rely on me. I've relied on you. And then I went into a marriage and relied on him. I have to rely on me. And I'm going to go find me. You don't have to take a trip to Thailand and around the world to do that. But you do really have to search yourself and find out. She attracted that relationship so that she would learn how powerful she was in her own right.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Awesome. I love it.
The apple has not fallen very far from the tree.
It never does, right? That's awesome. Thank you, Dee. So we're running a little low on time. I want to make sure you get a chance to talk about your gift, your program, and everyone watching, there's a couple buttons below that lead over to Dee's site. So what do you have for everybody?
Well, I'm putting my glasses on.
Excellent.
All right. So I've put together quite a wonderful package for you, I must say. So the free gift is all about creation completion, because anything you want to create, you got to know how to do it. The formula is the same. So this is a whole webinar on the complete creation process. It's pre-recorded for you. You know, what we want is completion. We want completion of our desires, right? And this free gift is going to help you understand how to get there. And then the package, well, my favorite subject, I have a great webinar on sex.
Yes.
For you.
Excellent.
And I mean, we delve into a lot of spiritual things about sex also. The psyche of relationships, that's a 3-part where we talk about the relationship with yourself, which we've talked a lot about today, how that creates relationships with others, and how that creates your relationship with the abundance of everything in your life, right? The abundance of love, the abundance of money, the abundance of success and health and everything. And then, this is my favorite, there is a webinar on restructuring the childhood brain. Because I am telling you, after thousands and thousands and thousands of private sessions, we always go back to some limiting belief or some fear that they established in their childhood from either being told verbally or watching it modeled in front of them. I actually also have a great TED Talk out on YouTube about that subject if you want to spruce up on that also. But it's a really complete package of the different areas that you need to address. You know, creating a relationship isn't just about finding a guy or a girl, because we've all had experiences of doing that. We want to find the guy and the girl who is complete in themselves, and then we want to be complete in ourselves, and then we want to come together and in that union create completeness. But he or she can't complete you, and you can't complete them. But so often in a relationship, that's our purpose. I'm going to go in there because once I am in a great relationship, I'll be the whole me. And it doesn't work that way.
Mm-hmm. Yes, not as glamorous sounding as that, but it's true.
Well, you can live a fairy tale where you don't get what you want, or you can live the conscious creation of a life manifested through joy and love.
I love it. Thank you, Dee. Thank you for putting that awesome package together. You're always so generous in putting these things together and all the events you've done with us. And again, everyone, there's a couple buttons below that you can click on to get the free gift as well as the package. Do you have any last insights? Anything else that you want to leave people with?
Well, the channel did, yes. Hold on.
Okay.
The signal, remember I talked about the signal that goes out from our thoughts and our feelings? The biggest signal that we're all sending out is, I need you to complete me. So that's the only thing then that the universe can send back to us, is somebody trying to complete us, which is impossible, guys. We're asking for something that's not possible. And then back to self-love, the primary belief is, I'm not good enough. Oh, I'm not good enough to get that kind of guy. I'm not good enough to have that kind of relationship. I'm not good enough to have pure love and joy and just great fun with somebody. You know, I got to work at this, and this is a struggle, and I'm not sure I've earned it, and I'm not sure I'm worthy of it. Well, you are. And the thing I'll leave you all with is, as you believe, it will be delivered to you. So I would choose to believe all the things that support what you want.
Yay, thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you for doing this again. We so appreciate you, Dee.
Love being here, always. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you everyone who's watching or listening right now. We love you, and we're so appreciative that you're here listening and watching, and we'll see you again real soon. Take care.
AVAIYA has changed my life.
AVAIYA has made me the woman I am today.
AVAIYA is my home.
AVAIYA is personal freedom.
AVAIYA is the reason my life continuously improves.
Let everyone in your life know about AVAIYA.
Everyone needs to know about this amazing company.
Thank you, AVAIYA, for appearing in my inbox.
What ALLEN and Ande Anderson have created at AVAIYA is what the world needs.